So, this is the second episode of Perceptional Courage, that the inquiry that we started in the earlier video, and uh, it is very important. So let's try to understand it. I would like to start this video from quoting a line from Krishnamurti, J. Krishnamurti, and I believe so that history has been unfair with the Krishnamurti on some cases, because he had given us such a remarkable statements, but we appreciate him, but we can't see his work in that depth, the depth it requires to resonate with what he was trying to say us. So let's, for example, I am just picking one, because today morning I was reading something and I read this line and it stuck with me. So that's why I'm using that in this inquiry, and it fits very well with the topic that we are discussing, the perceptional courage. So what Krishnamurti was writing in his one line I read, he wrote that perception is an action, and you know it was a paragraph and it is first line. You can't just understand this line while reading the whole paragraph. So the paragraph goes like this: the perception is action, because when you try to sit alone, you feel uncomfortable in the absolute silence, and you cannot hold that within fraction of second. The thinking faculty goes automated. It works. It start acting by its own. So in this whole reading, we miss the depth of the first opening line, which says perception is an action. So we now shifted into, oh, he is talking about meditation, and he's talking about the stillness, the silence he is talking. But yes, he is talking for silence. But if we miss the idea that perception is an action, we miss many things, because he is exactly trying to say what Lao Tzu was trying to say, what Zen tradition is trying to say us, uh, what Indian tradition of Mon is trying to tell us. You know, for in today, what I have seen, some jokers who go to ashram and they try to do Mon by just shutting the mouth. You know, so does it mean a man who can't speak by birth, he should be in the ultimate mourn? If just not speaking is what makes you mourn, is a psychological state. When you don't get triggered by anything, you are silent on every action, on every happening. The world is dancing in front of you, and you are not reacting to it. You are just watchful, silent, still. So that is the ultimate mode. We have strong impulse to correct someone. We have a parent tried to failed in his own life, and he's tried to correct uh, his his child, and they can't still, have you noticed that, uh, if you have maid in your home and he or she is doing something, we don't always correct the maid, because the correction needs to be addressed, because we have an impulse to correct someone, and that is the best exercise that we can safely pursue, because he will not, the maid, you know and that same is the relation with the boss and the employee. uh, Boss tries to throw his own garbage of the psychological burden on whatever he feels comfortable. So this is the idea that we should be catching. What does it mean that the perception is a kind of courage, what we are trying to discuss. And the courage means what Krishnamurti was trying to say, that perception is an action. So it is action. I will try uh, to dive deep into this idea. So to say it with more clarity, with more depth, with more understanding, we can say that perception is an involuntary action. So it is an action, but it is involuntary. So you don't have any control over it. So that's why it is involuntary. And then if we try to keep understanding it more deeper, we will reach at the next level when we say that, okay, perception is a form of courage also. That's very remarkable idea, because why perception is a courage? Have you seen a man for whom this world is already always haunting him? So he come up with the codes of bravery, which reveals his own coward character. So he say that I fear from no one. You should be, if you're really free, do you put it on Instagram story that you're free? That's very dichotomical, we can say. It's very paradoxical. So when you are angrily announcing that you are free now, it tells us slavery. The slavery is already there. Now you're just trying to make that slavery permanent by declaring that you are not a slave anymore. And that's what we never try to go into the, it is a strange phenomena that let's discuss in that dimension also. In all the attempts, we are just trying to understand what perceptional courage is. History has always explained Alexander by writing the adjective as the great, so called. Can we have this perceptional courage to write Alexander, the man who was insecure, Alexander, the man who was greedy, Alexander the dacoit, maybe, you know? It needs a certain courage. And yes, factually, it could be proved that he was a dacoit, he was greedy of land, pride, anything. But greed was always there. But what we have done with it, because it needs a perceptional courage to see this at the first place, not to speak about it, not to write about it. We can't see that it was a mistake, and it is a blunder mistake. And on the other hand, when I name Buddha, you know, Buddha, in contemporary accent we call it, uh, we can't see a ultimate brave man in Buddha. We have reduced it as a gifting material. You get a Buddha portrait on a gift shop and you buy it. It is very aesthetically aligned with everything, even in the living room, drawing room, even in bathrooms also. So this is what we have done. But to see Buddha as the powerful man ever lived in this on this land will make you haunt, because now you have to pursue silence, knowledge, knowing, wisdom. You have to go deeper. You know deep down that you can't be that. You have stuck in the illusion of the world, and that's why we say Buddha is spiritual man. We can't be Buddha. We just worship him, and all these acts are just helping you to run away as far as you can from Buddhahood, we can say. And on the other hand, we are greedy, we need money, we need power over someone. So we write unconsciously Alexander the Great. And yes, this correction, this mistakes uh, has to be corrected. First identified, then corrected. Because if this correction goes this way, it will keep directing in very subtle way maybe, but yes, it has some power over us, that we will be flowing in certain direction. And in every era, in every time, there is always a mania over us. We were never sane, and time will not make us sane. The scientific revolution will not make us sane. Even the artificial intelligence will make us more dumb, not sane anymore. So the requirement of sanity is even more enhanced in the times when we are bypassing the intelligence from the outside. We are outsourcing it actually. So slowly, the faculty of thinking, the faculty of critical thinking will, which is already dim, will be devastatingly gone. How to understand this idea closely, and maybe in another way? The the idea that when we say that the Buddhahood, uh, is not about courage. He is not a powerful man. He's a saint. He's a wise man ever lived. We forget Buddha's smile. You know, he even he make a kings feel beggar, and to style them, they he call himself a bhikkhu, which literally means a beggar. You know, this was a style because if you can see this, for a for a man like Buddha, everyone is a beggar, actually. So this is a courage to see him that he was tiring and he is not defining himself by when he called that I am a bhikkhu, bhikshu, or a beggar. You know, perceptional courage functions on multiple levels. If you are a miserable man, you have all the you will be always haunted by the political ideas. You will be always in threat. Your region, your country, your state, your nationality, your your culture, your will always be under threat because it is your own posture, and through that posture you are depicting, you are making sense of this world. And if you are a courageous man, world has always been a turmoil, a disturbance, and it's your own duty to get out of this for a while maybe. And that's the whole point, that these texts, these books, these knowledge guides us, try to keep guide us. Let's finish this video, and this concept will be continued in the next episodes as we get time, but this is very important idea. With that idea, I want to finish this video. In 18th century, listen very carefully, it is very interesting. In 18th century, there was a time when this the idea of being artist, the idea of being a poet, or being a fictional man, a good writer maybe, was so devastatingly uh, broken that they were believing if you look sick, if you look if you have a look that resembles the look of a man with the tuberculosis, it was appreciated. And what I'm saying, you shouldn't be shocking. It is a fact. You can verify that. In 18th and 19th century, especially in Europe, this was a trend. This was understanding that you can't look healthy, you can't look fit, you can't look happy, you can't look normal, a sane man, because that will indirectly tell us that you are not a good artist, that you are not you're not sensitive enough. So that is the cult of romanticizing the idea of aesthetic in very wrong way. But what do you think? How absurd it looks us today. Do the people in those times feel it or think it or see it that way? What does that lack? The perceptional courage. They don't have the courage to accept that what they have done with their lives is actually a mental disorder, not artistic anymore, not aesthetic, definitely. So we can immediately feel proud today that, oh, we are not that kind of society today. And that's the exact call we have to remind, we have to remember the perceptional courage again. Players always change, the game is always the same. Players keep changing and the game is always the same. So we are insane in different ways, but after a certain time we will get to know that what kind of insanity it is. So so this is the idea that sanity is a is sanity is a duty on us, and we have to earn that. And for that, we need to develop courage in our perception, in our actions. We have to align completely with this idea. And then maybe slowly, slowly, we can move towards this sanity. We can move towards the ultimate stability. And it happens only with a certain kind of courage, because it can't be achieved by desiring, by carrying a good heart. I'm very sensitive man. Maybe I can get that. No, life doesn't works like that. Today in morning I was talking to someone and I said that If you ever think that your intentions are good, so that's why you will get reward from the Almighty God if it exists. Look at the videos of the, my special, my favorite portion is to have a look on the African continent, and the savannah and Masai Mara area, and Tanzania. These areas are very, very, not just touristy. They tell us very, very much about how nature works. Some another day we will talk about that. But uh, I was explaining him. Look, look how lion hunt a innocent cow in the jungle, or or a cute giraffe. How brutally a lion hunts a giraffe, or maybe a baby giraffe. You know, it is inhuman. It is cruel, but this is how nature works, and this cruelty will act upon you, irrespective how pure you are, if you fail to fetch to achieve what I am trying to explain here is perceptional courage. Don't feel offended. Fill your heart with love. Humans do this. In history, many humans have done this. You can also do it. The first thing is to believe that you can do this. Don't get rejected by, oh, this is very utopian. Try to think of it. Is there any way out? Thank you.